Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. We've got some absolute superstars and legends in the house. All right, let's say hello to everybody. All right, we've got 𝗪𝗁, my partner in crime. We haven't committed any crimes, just for the record. We've got the lovely, legendary Linda, and that's who we are all here for today. We've got Christine in the house, all the way from the Philippines. We've got Asha. We've got Elise, we've got the main man, Michael, in the house. I saw you earlier on during the week. We've got Annette, we've got Beth, we've got Sandra. Oh, man, I love this. We've got Samuel, we've got Sandy, we've got Jen, and then we've got Mr. Ramel in the house. I've got to say, this is the best looking and most beautifulest Zoom room that I have ever seen in my life. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dre, you probably say that every time you're in the Zoom room. Yes, but this time I mean it and it's true. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me, everybody can see me. So in the chat screen, yep, so we're getting thumbs up. In the chat screen, can you tell me whereabouts you are tuning in from in the world and what time it is? And if you're watching the recording, you should have been here. And if you could do the same as well, so put that in the comments. Alrighty. Oh, okay. So Christine says hi. Michael, Chicago, 6 p.m. Christine, Philippines, 7 a.m. Samuel, Tampa, Florida. Chat screen's going crazy. Sandy, hi from Gresham, Oregon. Beth, 5 p.m. in Denver. Jan says hello, joining from MN, 6 p.m. MN. All right, you're gonna have to let me know which one that is. Yes, Asher from Washington, 4 p.m. Mississippi, 6 p.m. from Beverly. 𝗪𝗁, Bangkok, Thailand, 6 a.m. I'm the same as you, 𝗪𝗁. Linda from Omaha, 6 p.m. We've got lots of people from the States. Elise, Portland, Oregon. All right, Sandra Holla tuning in from St. Clement, California. And then Rebecca K, all the way from Australia, representing. Used to live in Australia, absolutely love it. All right, enough talking from me. So what we're going to do now is just set the agenda, and then we are going to welcome the lovely, the legendary Linda. So does everybody have some water? Because I want everyone to stay hydrated, because we're going to be together probably for an hour. We might go a little bit longer. So just want to, oh, okay, Michael, he's got the water. All right, so I want you to stay hydrated. And in case of, oh, Sandy's got hers as well. Christine's got hers. 𝗪𝗁's got hers. And in case of an emergency, so if there's a fire, I'm sorry, you're on your own. I'm going to be running, and then you guys just have to run to the nearest exit. So if everyone can keep themselves on mute when they're not talking, we would love this to be interactive and for everybody to participate. So if you want to give some praise to Linda, words of, like encouragement, or if you want to ask her some questions about the process or about the book, then please do either put your hand up, or you can put that in the chat screen, and either myself or 𝗪𝗁 will read those out. Does that sound amazing, or does that sound amazing? That sounds amazing. Yeah. All right. What we'll do, normally we do a game, but we might do the game. Hello, Beverly in the house. Hello, Annette. What we might do is play a game at the end, because I've got this game that I love. It's like a little running game. It's a bit crazy, but I love it. So we might play that if we've got enough time. But we're going to give out some gifts and prizes today. So when Linda's going to be talking, I'm going to write down some questions, and the first person to answer will win a prize, and we'll tell you about that a bit later. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand over to Linda in a minute. 𝗪𝗁's going to ask a few questions after that. We'll open it up to the audience. We're going to have some fun. We are here to celebrate the lovely, the legendary Linda, who is releasing On Resilience, When You Are Too Effing Stupid to Quit. So I'm super excited to hear all about that title. So 𝗪𝗁 and I were lucky enough to interview Linda, and what I can say about Linda is that I am she's an amazing person, and hearing all about her life and her journey and how the book came apart, I want every one of you in the Zoom room and watching at home to be able to to share that with us as well. So, without any further ado, let's give it up for the super sensational, the marvelous, the magnificent, the fabuloso, the lovely, the legendary. That's right. Let's give it up for Linda. Linda, welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can live up to that build up.
right, Linda, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. This has been a 10, 15-year adventure. So I'm glad it's done.
All right, Linda, for the people that don't know you, and then I'm going to hand over to my teacher in a moment. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and then my teacher's going to take over from there?
Um, who I am is I'm a widow, I'm a mother, I see my Aunt Annette on here, and she is a huge part of my story. I'm someone that's been through, I don't know, bunch of different medical issues. My family has had medical issues on and off during the past. I've bankrupted us at least once. Life hasn't been easy, and I know that's the same for everybody, but I've been very blessed to have an amazing support system, which I know most people don't have. And the purpose of this book is to kind of be a resource um, to help people through those trying times and let them know that they're not alone. And if there's nobody there for them, I'm there for them. And there's some um, parts of the book where, when you buy the book, there's a QR code that you can scan and you can become part of the On Resilience community where I'll be there and other people that buy the book will be there. And we're there to support each other. And that's what this book is all about. It's not about making money. It's not about saying, "Ooh, I wrote a book." It's about taking the resources that I've been given and that I've learned over the years and putting them in one place where people have them available if they need them. And there's always a point in our life where we need help from someone. And a lot of times people feel they don't have someone to turn to. And so that's what this is.
All right, thank you, lovely. Linda, legendary. All right, I've written down a few points here, so I'm going to be asking you some questions. So I hope everybody is paying attention. All right, to my partner in crime, marvelous, magnificent Letitia, over to you.
Thank you, Dre. Linda, I know I have seen you since you just like start this book in a draft, and I'm very proud of you. I hope you are very excited today that the book is already finally coming out, right?
I am
We are
so
with you on the journey.
Yeah, I am so excited, and I want to thank you and Asher and Jay and Dre for all of the support and all the help and all the technical stuff that you do for me, and you help me make it coherent, which was wonderful. So a lot of it was all just mushed up here, and you guys helped me get it out of here into the book. So I appreciate that so much because that's what took me so long.
I know I always say that we got you, and we really got you. So I'm very
You
proud of you.
do, you really got us. So I appreciate that so much.
On the reality of resilience, you state right away that no one chooses to be resilient because it's fun, but it's necessity. So for the audience right here who are already exhausted from constantly having to bounce back, how do they keep like their resilient muscle from tearing?
You know, it's going to tear some, and like any other muscle, it needs to be built. The plan is not to build it being resilient about the same thing over and over and over again. But it's a necessary muscle, especially, you don't go through life without needing to be resilient. And the older we get, the more resilience we've got in our background, or at least usually. It's not easy, but that's why there's people that you can work with. And I wanted this book to be that resource. I mean, there's resources in here if you're in an abusive relationship, if you're struggling with, there's mental health resources. I've got all those things put in here in one place. So depending on what you're struggling with and how it's affecting you, you should be able to find help if you don't feel you can talk to anybody you know. And I think sometimes it's easier to talk to someone you don't know, who doesn't know you. There's no judgment in those conversations. And I think that's what helps the resilience, is to be able to work through and pick myself up and keep getting up every morning, even when I didn't want to, because I knew there was a reason for me to be here. And for all of us, just remember you're still here for a reason, or you wouldn't be getting up every day. So and sometimes my verbal isn't so good, so excuse me. But we're resilient because there's no other option. That doesn't mean that we don't strain the muscle, that we don't tear the muscle, that we don't hurt the muscle. That's how muscle builds, is it gets strained, it gets stretched, and it gets torn. That's how it comes back. So it's not easy, but it's kind of empowering, you know?
What about when we hear about work-life balance? We hear it very often, but you also called out that the balance is a myth because life is unpredictable. Can you explain why we should be striving for harmony instead, or how it's different from any other balance?
Well, balance means you've got everything set, but then the minute something changes, you're out of balance. And when you're in balance, all of your effort goes to staying in balance. When we live in harmony, it means that we are adjusting for the ebb and flow. We're adjusting for the changes that are going to come, because nothing stays stagnant. So harmony is a way to do that in a way that is more in tune with your lifestyle, with what's going on. You know, especially in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, they talked a lot about work-life balance, which you can't. They wanted you to have work-life balance, but they wanted you to leave work at work and home at home, and that you can't. You just can't. What happens at home affects you mentally, physically, and emotionally at work, and what happens at work does the same at home. And instead of trying to split that and keep one side, we're going to keep this apart over here, we're going to keep this apart over here, and we're going to try to keep it level, we learn how to flow with it and adjust so that it's not overwhelming, that it doesn't overtake, and that we don't drown, we float on the tide. And so I talk about harmony, and my mentor, Paul Martinelli, talks about harmony all the time. It's easier to be in harmony than it is in balance. It just is. It allows you to do things, and maybe I wake up this morning and, oh, my plan for today was to go spend the day with my son and go running around, and I wake up this morning and something changes in our schedule, and I could panic, or I could be upset and I could crab about it all day, or I could say, okay, change the schedule, let's make the adjustment, let's go take care of this, and then we can go do this. I look at parents with 3, 4 kids at home and they're all in different sports and they all have to be in different places at different times. And families make that work. They work with neighbors, they work with other parents on the team, and everybody gets where they need to go. That's not balance, that's harmony. And harmony isn't a single tune or a single note. Harmony is the blending of all the pieces in a way that sounds beautiful. So that's what I try to live into, and that's some of the stuff that I talk about in the book on how to work your way into harmony for different things.
Anyone, what is your opinion on that? Do you prefer balance or harmony? When Linda explained that harmony is like the combination of different tunes and become beautiful, I'm like, that's really true. And you really cannot predict anything, like whatever happened each day, even though you plan it really well. So I couldn't agree more with you on that. But you also mentioned something about pockets of time that people really needs to practice self-care as well. How do we prioritize that and how vital of it?
It's hard, especially for women, not to say that guys don't have that problem too, but women in my age group and younger kind of grew up with the super mom thing, where mom could be everywhere and do everything and never break a sweat. And now people in my age group and in my son's age group, we're at the point where we might still have family at home, and now we're looking after mom and dad. We have to find time to look after us. And it's not selfish, it's essential, because if you're caregiving for all these people and something happens to you, what happens to the rest of that? Who takes care of mom if you're mom's caregiver? Who gets dad to his doctor's appointments if that's your job and you don't allow anyone else to help or you don't ask for help? And I know when I'm working with caregivers, many of them feel that they're not supposed to ask for help. And I used to try to appeal to their nature, their self-preservation. And when you're in that mode, you don't think about anything except the person you're taking care of or looking after. And so now I talk about what's your plan B? And we saw that when my husband had his first open heart surgery. He never got sick and he ended up missing a whole week of work, which just absolutely made him frantic because he was the only person at work that did what he did. And he was stressing about not being there to do what needed to be done. And then he had to have surgery and he was out for 8 weeks. And I told him, I said, well, maybe you need to be working with some of the people in your office because you didn't plan to be gone and you've been gone for 8 weeks. They had to figure it out. They had to do something because they didn't have you to talk to. So instead of getting to that point where something happens to you, there's no other options, start building in those options. Now, the pockets of time are ways, if you're in a caregiver situation or you're in a situation where you really can't pass the baton, and maybe, like I know, my friend's parent was in dementia and really could not be left alone even for a second. They were mobile, but they just weren't very cognizant of what was going on. And so they really couldn't let him out of their sight. And so there are ways to get some relief for yourself, even if you feel like you can't let them out of your sight. Everybody gets a bio break. So even if it's, just quick run to the bathroom, wash your hands, take a deep breath, go back out. If you really can't let them out of your sight, have them inside, but open a door, open a window, get some sunshine, get some fresh air, and I like to do the breathing exercises that I've been taught by some of the people that I know that help me within a matter of 15 to 20 seconds calm myself down so I can be more focused on what I'm doing instead of being in panic mode. And so there are exercises that I share in the book on, some of the breathing. And the breathing exercise I put in there takes no more than 30 seconds. And when you can calm your mind down, you can deal with whatever it is you're dealing with in a much better fashion. You're not in survival mode, you're not in panic mode, you're in solution mode. And that's what the pockets of time help you do. Get out of panic, out of feeling like there's no way you can take a break, and just kind of level things down a little bit so that you can think more clearly. And again, not everybody has those kind of events all the time, but I found that the groups that I work with, the caregivers, they think it's like that all the time, even when they do have a break. Mom or dad are going to take a short nap, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. And that's when you can take that deep breath and just kind of go, okay, they're not going to get hurt. They're sleeping. They're right there. Everything's fine. And you can refresh yourself. You can get a drink of water. You can make yourself a quick bite to eat. You can open the windows, get some sunshine in, get some fresh air, get some, have a book that you want to read. And even if you only get to read a page or two before they're up and around again, that's something you can do just for you that doesn't put them at risk. So that's kind of what the pockets of time are.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. Like just a few months ago that my grandmother's got sick and she failed actually and she couldn't walk and my mom needs to take care of her. So it happens to me that I need to take care of my mom because she was occupied by prioritizing her mother's, right? And
Right.
that's so hard because I have never seen my mom that busy before. And she was always thinking about my grandmothers all the time, like exactly what you say when you need to be a caretaker for someone. And yeah,
Even if she knows she's okay, if there's no way you're not going to worry, right? It's your mom, it's your dad, it's your sibling, it's your child. They're always going to be front of mind. And it's not selfish to take a couple of moments for yourself and say, okay, in order for me to be the best I can for them, I just need a second to step away and take a breath. And there's no time, like there's no timeline. Some of us hit early dementia at a very early age. Some of us live to be 90 or 100 and we don't get dementia. Some of that's, hereditary, and some of it's not. Some of it's environmental. But we need to kind of have an idea of how we want to handle that, especially as we get, it's kind of like people don't like to write wills. But, if you don't have a will and you die in a state, probate takes forever, and your family and your loved ones may not get taken care of the way you had planned for them. So it's doing those things that you can do now to kind of take that off the plate for a while. You can write a will, you can always change it later. But if you want to make sure that your family is looked after in the way you want them looked after, get it in a will and get it witnessed and get it filed. So if something happens to you tomorrow, I'm not saying something's going to happen to you tomorrow, but be prepared. And they're easy enough to do now.
so anyone, what is your self-care looks like? Comment below. I would love to know and share, like who go to spa, who like to read books, who like to listen to music, or even play any instrument. Please share with us in the chat. My last question on this part before I hand over back to Dre. You also mentioned, I think this leads to the unapologetic unapologetic boundaries, right? You
Yeah.
share your story with your mom, um, and who would come home, run the tap, and declare, like, even if the house is on fire, I'm not home. How can modern caretakers learn to set that kind of like unapologetic boundaries like you?
You know, it took her a long time to get to that point. She was a nurse. She was the oldest of nine. Um, my mom seemed to be born to take care of other people. And when she was working, she worked in a nursing home facility that in today's world would be hospice, but the only way most of her patients left was when they died. And she would spend her day doing that, looking after them, and then come home and she'd have to go into mom mode. And so the way she went into mom mode was she ran the tub. She always took a little glass of beer in there just to have something to sip. And we just thought she was soaking in the tub. Well, we found out many years later that her tub time was she would just bawl her eyes out and let that release and get all of that out so that when she got out of the tub and got dressed, now she could be mom and now she could be Helen, the wife, and go and take care of her family. She was always taking care of people. And it was a really hard thing for her to learn to set that boundary, but she started to realize that she couldn't do all of the things that it was important to her to do if she didn't take even just a little bit of time for herself. And I kind of thought that was a big win because I just remember her always like, I don't think she slept soundly at night until all of us were out of the house. Because if one of the kids was sick and they walked in the room and you barely got through the door and she was up and you never wanted to wake her up because she was going to come flying up like something was wrong. We didn't want to give her a heart attack or anything, but it took her a long time to say, yeah, I need to do that for me too. She was doing it for everybody else. And so regardless of what your role in life is, make sure that you are giving some time to you to look after yourself. I see Michael on here. He's got that amazing Zen garden. I can't wait. I'm coming out to Chicago. I gotta walk your garden. It looks beautiful.
Indeed.
And I think even taking care of just putting that together, I think is self-care for Michael because it allows him to focus on something other than necessities, get to do something fun for himself.
100%. So I saw a lot of comments, but I will hand over to Dre to read all the comments. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you, Dre.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Latita. So I was just reading some messages. We've got a group like WhatsApp, and let me just share this with you. So actually, before I read that, has everybody bought the book yet, or is it just me? Oh, okay, a few of you, and that's like, no, not yet. All right, so everybody in the Zoom room and also everybody that's watching the recording, the link has been dropped into the chat or the comments on there. Christine, if I get you to share your screen in a second, you can purchase the book, but this is some awesome news. So Asha has shared with us the current US rankings. We've only just released the book about officially 30 minutes ago, but Linda, you are paperback and hardcover number 3 in crisis management counseling, and in Kindle number 2 for educational counseling. That is amazing. Let's all give it up for Linda. All right, brilliant.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, so let's see if we can help get Linda to number one. So for those of you in the Zoom room, for those of you that are watching the replay, you can go onto Amazon, and it's very important to go where your Amazon account is. So if you're like me, I've got 3 Amazon accounts. One's in England, one's in Australia, and one's in America. However, my Kindle is registered in Australia. So make sure that you buy your copy if you're getting the ebook from there. And if you have a physical copy of the Kindle, then if it's one of those early versions, I think 1, 2, or 3, that won't, the ebook version won't work. So Amazon does have a free online Kindle that you can use as well. So thank you. What we're going to do, I'm going to read a couple of the comments. And then, Linda, what I might do, actually, what we'll do, we're going to open it up to the audience. So if anyone's got anything that they'd like to share or to ask Linda, and then I believe Linda has a reflection question for us. And then I'm going to hand back over to Matita, and then we're going to give out some prizes and gifts as well. So, all right, let me just scroll up. All right, so let me go. Linda, you might not have seen all of these comments.
I was trying to look.
Yes, so Sandra said, so blessed for you, Linda. Michael said, Linda is amazing. Rebecca's giving you some love hearts. Sandy, Linda is just a wonderful, amazing person, and I'm blessed to know her. Sandra said, I already ordered my book. And then Christine's dropped in the links. And we also want to thank each and every one of you for being here and giving up your time and supporting Linda as well. It's absolutely incredible and phenomenal. And Rebecca's, she's purchased the book. Congratulations, Michael's got his copy as well. Rebecca said, thank you for your courage. And if you're watching the replay as well, make sure that you put some comments in whatever platform that you're watching. Diana said, so proud of you, Linda. Sandy, great explanation of balance and harmony. Oh, okay. I've got a question. If you were listening early up when Linda was talking, so this is for a prize. We'll tell you what the prize is going to be later. Linda mentioned a QR code to join the community. Where do you find that QR code? I'm going to look at the answer to see who the first person was. All right. And then we'll read some of the comments. Oh. Okay, I've had to scroll all the way down, and it looks like Mr. Michael, Resilience Community, in her book. Oh, Jan's got it right as well. Rebecca's in the book, Sandy in the book, and it's in the book. All right. So it looks like Michael's going to get a prize. We'll tell you about that shortly. We've also got some gifts to give out. I am going to hand back over to Linda. So we've got a reflection for you. And then I'll hand over to Matita, and then we can give out some more gifts and some more prizes. Sound amazing? Sound amazing. Amazing. I knew you were going to say that. And congratulations, Linda. Linda, over to you. Do you have a reflection question?
I do. What does resilience feel like for you? What does it look like for you?
All right, I'm gonna
go ahead and put that in the comments.
yeah,
anything that you can define and name makes it easier.
Yeah, put that in the chat screen, or if you're a slow typer with me, like me, you can take yourselves off mute and you can just share.
You can do that too. Yes.
Yeah. And then we'll open it up to the audience. And after this, I'm going to hand back to Matita. Alrighty. All right, so we've got some coming through. All right, Matita, I'm going to hand over back to you for this one, if that's all right. If I throw you under the bus, and then do you want to read some of the she's like, Dre, you always do that to me. You always do that to me. All right, back
no
over
problem.
To you. Thank you.
Okay, the comment is coming up. I also wrote some. So Rebecca said, not giving up no matter how tough life gets. Taking a moment to breathe and try again. So Linda, do you have any response to Rebecca's comments? Or you want me to read all first?
No, I can respond to each one. I love
Okay.
that because even though there's a definition of resilience, each person responds in a different way. And I love that she's talking about getting up again. Because that, the way I see it, when you no longer have resilience, you're done.
Mm.
Not just for a day, but I mean, you know, end of life, people let their resilience go when they're ready. And so to me, when we're willing to get up again, we're being resilient because we're not done. We still have
100%.
something to offer.
So Asher said, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But damn, does it takes a long time.
We all are Hercules now, right? I mean, if you're older than 2 and you look at, when I think of what some of the young kids go through, the
Mm.
ones that, but when you look at resilience, it's one of the things I really think we kind of miss is babies are extremely resilient. Learning to crawl, learning to walk, learning to stand up. They don't stop. They don't give up. They just keep going at it. And, a lot of times I think we think of resilience as being negative. It means something bad is happening. And yes, there's struggle in resilience, but it's struggle with a really good outcome sometimes. And,
That's
watch a baby learning to crawl for its favorite toy across the room. Ain't nothing going to stop it. It may take a while, but it's going to get there and it's going to get it.
So Sandra said, being able to bounce back.
Yeah, resilience is kind of rubbery. I kind of think of remember I'm showing my age, the Weebles? The Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That's kind of what resilience is you're ready to bounce this right back and, yeah, hit me again. I'm not done.
So Michael, resilience is definitely a feeling for me. It's a comfort, warm, and calm feeling. Oh,
That's awesome. I like that. I
so
like that. Yeah.
yeah, I never think about it that way. Thank you, Michael. Oh, that's enlightened me. My next one, the power to keep going regardless whatever happened in your life.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. It's the human condition. We just keep plugging away.
Jan said, trusting that God is in control.
Yeah, very much for me. Whether you're a person of faith or not, trusting that something bigger than you has got you is
Yeah.
is a real sign of resilience.
Sandra also double on that relying on God. So yeah, amen to that. Sandy said, breathing into whatever I feel the problem is, breathing into it helps me to relax my brain, which is a much healthier feeling to make my decision from.
Most definitely. You make much better decisions when you're calm.
And then Andy, Mr. Andy in the house, I feel my resilience shows up in me taking action. When my back's up against the wall, I find I deal with it so much better when I'm taking action to improve my situation. 100%.
And sometimes that action is just getting up. Sometimes that's all you can do is, just get up. And other times it's, okay, let's get up, let's get going, let's focus, let's get the job done. But It's doing something.
Okay, we got a few. Sandy also said, without resilience, there is only rigidity.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, we got new ideas today. Beth
Yeah,
also said, resilience is hope.
definitely.
And
Because,
yeah, sorry.
because if you don't have hope, then you're not gonna keep bouncing back.
Where there is hope, there is always a way. So, Mr. Dre, resilience for me is strength and faith. So that's for Mr. Dre. And Jen says she's remember Rebels. So we know the age. I'm kidding. Let's move on to the next
I love them
reflection.
weebles.
Let's move on to the next reflection question.
Let me see. What did I have? I had another one up there. Think about a time you've been resilient in your life. If anybody wants to share verbally, I would love to hear that.
Anyone wants to share?
I will. Okay. Throughout my life, I've had to have resilience. I can share this, that one of the hardest things for me, like during the 7 laws, universal laws, mastermind was doing the homework when was my uptime, when was my downtime, what season is good for me, which, all of that, because I grew up where whatever came my way, I just pushed through it. There was no time to think, oh, this is a downtime, I can't do this, right? Just do it. So I found it was such a learning experience for me. But one of the greatest resilient times was a couple of years ago when biological father passed away, and my sister lives out of state, and so I was the executor of his estate, and I had to just push through to get his home sold. I had to do a lot of the work, and I just pushed through it. I was texturing and taping and painting walls myself, getting the work done. Because where was I going to get the money from? So going through all of that day after day after day for 2 months straight, because I had it in my mind, I'm going to get this house sold by this date. And I got it sold 5 days later from the date that I wanted. But that was my biggest resilient time that I can remember recently.
That's awesome. And I was the executor for my mom's estate, and it's a lot to do while you're in grief, and most of the time the executor is someone in the family. And so it's so much at once. And like I said, I'm so blessed to have such an amazing support system. I've got, when I was doing that, my brother and my sister, my nephew and nieces, my sister-in-law, my aunts and uncles, everybody was there to support. And it made it go much easier. And I didn't have to be so resilient because I had all of these resources. But thank you for sharing that. I know, that's a hard thing.
Dre, so all back to you. You're back.
Thank you. I was just reading some of what Rebecca and Sandy put in there. So we'll share that shortly. But I want to open it up to the audience because I've been saying it since the beginning. So does anyone have any questions or any shares that you'd like to share with Linda and with us? Oh, I think Zoom's broken. It looks like everybody is frozen. Any questions? Oh, Annette, oh, I can hear you. I can see you moving your mouth. You've got a... Oh, Annette, you're on mute. There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
we got you. We got you.
Okay. So I just have to say that I'm proud to be Linda's aunt. And well, I'll show you, I have a definition of resilience here. And one of the things that it includes is that it is not an inherent trait. However, as Linda was talking and different ones were commenting, my observation with Linda is that she may have an inherent trait that maybe all the rest of us don't have, or I don't have it to the degree that she does. I found her to have an extreme strength of character. And I think observing her throughout so much illness and at times life-threatening more than once, I think her willingness to know when she did need to just sit back and depend on others and accept her situation. But as soon as Linda is able to do anything, she is reaching out and being of service and caring to other people. And she's certainly a resource to me when my resilience is in my muscles not so strong. So anyway, I can go on and on about Linda, but she has certainly had an opportunity to strengthen her resilience muscle, and she just seems to bounce back and come back with vigor and enthusiasm. So, and now she's written a book, which that's awesome. So congratulations, Linda.
I think it is somewhat hereditary because Annette is my mom's sister. And she's a social worker, and she was a lifesaver for me when I was sick for so long. She was kind of the intermediary for Jeff and I with the hospitals and the rehab facilities and making sure that I was getting the best care. Because when you can't talk for 5 months, you need someone who could talk for you. And she's my Aunt Annette, and I love her dearly. And I'm her emotional support niece.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that some other time.
I appreciate that. Resilience doesn't mean you can't just cheat and borrow somebody else's.
That's right. And I cheat and borrow yours all the time. You and John are extremely resilient, and I love you to the moon. You being here means the world to me.
So.
Thank you, Annette, and thank you, Linda. But we're going to have to move on because I'm going to start crying, and then you're all going to start crying. Everyone's going to start crying. So,
oh, no.
Let's go over to Marvelous Michael. Michael's got a question for us. Over to you, Michael.
Hi, Linda. I'm so proud of you and what you've accomplished with this book, and can't wait to get my copy and find a time to connect with you in person to have you sign it for me. But I know I've heard you talk a number of times, and I know about your mother and the impact that she had in your life, and I'm just curious. what you feel your mother feels and thinks and says, knowing about you and what you've accomplished with getting this book published and out in the hands of so many.
I don't know. I hope she'd be proud. I think she would have been the first one to buy a copy. And then she'd probably give me a hard time about some of the stuff that's in there, but that's okay. She was small but mighty, and I spend a lot of my time trying to live up to her. And I know I don't think I will ever be able to be the amazing woman that she was, but I'm better for trying. And I think this book is a lot of that, because a lot of what I learned in my lifetime on resilience and all of those things that are in the book, a lot of that comes from her and comes from her family, her brothers and sisters, her mom, her dad. She was just such a huge influence in all the right ways. And she also taught me that it's okay to take care of myself. And I think she would be very happy that I'm spreading that word, that, you need to look after yourself and be that, take care of yourself if you want to be helping other people. And I'm going to put my mom up for sainthood, because from her lips to God's ears. And I know she's sitting on his left shoulder right now, jawing away at him.
I know she is too. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's so good to see you. Yeah, bring it to the coaching thing in July.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well.
You betcha. I'd be honored. I'm so glad you were able to come. Thank you.
Would have missed it.
Michael's another very important person in my life. He's been a dear, dear friend, and he's kind of a mentor. You are just so full of joy, and I love that about you.
So. That's what I love. We have a great friendship and mentor one another, and just a great support. So I really value my connection and blessed to call you friend. So excited.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too, dear.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Linda. And Linda, totally agree. When I met Michael on Zoom a couple of months ago, he's got just like an infectious energy, about him as well. He does, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh. And he's won a prize. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask another question that I'm going to hand over to Matita. She might read some of the comments, and then we might do a running race if we've got time. And then if anyone else has got anything that they want to share, and then we can close it out. So this is for another prize, and we will tell you about this at the end. All right, so this is the question. So Linda earlier mentioned that resilience is like, so it's the first person in the chat screen to write it in the chat screen or to put their hand up. Someone hasn't answered it already, have they? Oh, phew. Okay. All right. So earlier, Linda said resilience is like any other muscle. It has to be, what's that word? Resilience is like any other muscle. It has to be, what was that word that she mentioned? Oh, Annette, I can't hear you. Take yourself off mute. I can see you. No, not tear. Oh, Ryan, that was a good answer. Okay, it begins with, oh, not you. Okay, I'll give you a clue. It begins with B. So like any other muscle, not flexed, begins with B. It has to be exercise. No. B. No. If there was a house and you were You were going to get a new... Yes, Michael's got it again. Yes, so earlier Linda said resilience, like any other muscle, it has to be built. We've got some good answers in there. Got some good answers. I'm not sure if Michael can win 2 prizes, so we might go to the next person. So I'll leave that down to you. He's like, ooh, leave that down to you. All right, Matita, over to you.
All right, great. Thank you. I would just read some comments. Asher were saying, getting out of bed took resilience, even those little moments required it. Sandy said, running from domestic violence and becoming homeless in an unfamiliar city and state, that was a spectacular experience in resilience. Rebecca also said that overcoming chronic health condition, living a DV relationship, homelessness, surviving family violence, childhood sexual abuse, going on to eventually forgive my abusers and heal. Wow, that's very powerful. Okay, next one is Diana, switching room. She said, it's been hard to use the word resilience because I have always felt it was survival where there is no choice. I wonder if recognizing the strength of resilience, I can get to some peace. And Sandy said that she couldn't stay, unfortunately, but she's so super happy to have been here to support one of her very best friend and take care of everyone. She said that. All right. Okay, Samuel. Watching Linda over the years, I have been amazed to the degree that she can bounce back and be so resilient. She has been a blessing and encouragement to me. Wow, that's amazing. So, let's talk about.
There's one I
Sorry?
want to read from my niece Diana.
Oh, sure.
She said it's been hard to use the word resilience because she's always felt it was survival, where there's no choice. And she wonders if recognizing the strength of resilience, she can get to some peace. And I think that's a huge, huge observation, Diana. Thank you for sharing that. I sometimes think we look at resilience 2 ways. It's either we wear it like a badge of honor and we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing without changing anything, or we think resilience is some kind of a punishment. And it's neither of those things. Resilience it's a necessity. And again, when you look at it, young children need to be resilient just to learn how to eat, to walk, to stand up, we're resilient all the time. It's just a lot of times we associate resilience with the negative part of struggle. And resilience can be joyful as well, like watching a baby stand up and take their first steps. They didn't just do it on the first run. They tried many, 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 many times. So some of it is changing how we view resilience and what light we're looking at it in. Yes, it usually means we've gone through some kind of a struggle, but not all struggle is bad. Childbirth is struggle, but usually the outcome is very joyful. So we just need to maybe do some mind work on how we relate to resilience, especially, because usually we're pretty tired of being resilient. And I get that. But if you're tired being resilient, that means you're still in the game. And I think we need to remember that as well.
100%, 100%. I don't know what to add to that. That's already complete the whole pictures. Right now, do you working on anything new, Linda? Any new project?
I'm working on building the community that comes along with this book. And so it's a place where we can support each other, just be there for each other. I want very much for people to understand that you're not alone, even when it feels like you're desperately alone. If nothing else, I'm here. And there are ways that you can reach out to me and, borrow my belief in you and borrow my love in you, like I've been able to do from all of the amazing people that have joined today and many others that weren't here tonight. I didn't get here by myself. I've had such amazing love and support, and I'm working on some other things, other ways to support people. I'm going to be working in areas where I can show people how to be emotionally supportive of others without losing themselves. And to me, that's very important because emotional support can be very demanding, and you want to make sure you look after you while you're doing that. And God knows when you look around right now, there's a lot of people that need support. And that's my goal, to help as many as I can.
Oh, we love you, Linda. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
So you said that there are many ways to connect with you. Where are the ways? Can you share us?
Yeah, we can put it in the chat. You can email me at linda@lovinglifesjourney.com. You can, and you'll get them in the back of the book. You can receive like daily messages of support and inspiration from me. You can get those in your email, or you can get a text for those. There's 2 spaces for that. And you can connect with me on Facebook. It's Linda Crunch Novel Wilson. So we'll have to spell that. Oops. Let me type that in there. Why won't it?
There will be all the links to connect with Linda in the, in the show notes page as well, that you can find.
Okay.
So yeah, we got you.
Okay, yeah, put them in there because my keyboard's acting funny. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. If you're on WhatsApp, you can find me in there. And I try to make myself fairly accessible. So anytime you need to reach out, and I do a weekly podcast with my friend Sam called Balancing Act, kind of tongue-in-cheek Balancing Act. And you can find us there as well. And I'm on YouTube, so I'm everywhere.
I know. So Linda really reachable. Dre, anything else to add? Hand over to you.
Yes, so because we're just a little bit over, so we might go for about another 5 minutes. Does anyone have any other questions or anything else that they would like to share before we wrap up? You can take yourselves off mute, and I can see we've got something in there from Andy. So I'll read that out while you're all thinking, and then we'll hand over to Linda for the final words, and also to tell about the gifts and the prizes. So Andy Hall has said, so very proud of you, Linda. I celebrate you and your success this evening, and thank you for all the support you have given me. My journey, I know I speak for, given me on my journey, and I know I speak for so many others that could not be with you this evening. Lots of love. And then Linda said, thank you so much. Yeah, love you. All righty.
Thank you, Andy. He's the coach's coach. He's amazing.
Coach. Love that. All righty. So any final questions or shares for the lovely, legendary Linda? I'm going to do a countdown. Or forever hold your peace. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.8, 1.7, 1.6, 1. I'm just kidding. Alrighty. So,
Thank you, everybody.
Linda, don't go anywhere just yet. Linda, do you want to
Well, I'm
tell
not
us?
going anywhere. I just want to make sure I say thank you.
All right,
I love
Linda,
all-
do you want to tell us about, so everybody that's in the Zoom room wins a prize, and everyone that has commented on the replay, so this is in the future, will get a free gift. So Lindsay, do you want to tell us about some of these free gifts that you've got for everyone?
I have got, there's a free audio recording. It's called From Here to There, where I recorded some messages that mean a lot to me, and I hope they are helpful and they mean a lot to you. And then there's now I can't remember what I sent you. Oh my gosh.
All right. So we had, let me just get the phone.
Okay.
Oh,
What did I do?
don't worry, Christine is all over it. So she's
Oh,
put
there she is. Thank you. So there's the daily message of inspiration and motivation. That's a email, so you can get that by clicking on that link. And a 30-minute discovery session if you just want to talk and see if there's anything I can help you with, or you just want to connect. You can sign up for that, and happy to spend some time with you and get to know how I can help. So those are my gifts. So that's for you giving me an hour of your time, and I really appreciate it.
Love that. Everybody loves gifts. Everybody loves prizes. And then what I'm going to do, so I've written down a couple of names earlier on because we've run out of time. So, Linda, if it's okay with you, are we able to give out 2 more prizes?
Okay.
Yeah. So the first one is to Sandra, and the other one is to Annette, because you came up and you asked questions. So congratulations to you. And Linda, I'm gonna hand over to you for the final words. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with?
I just want to say thank you, all of you, for being here for this, for me. And I hope you take what I have and pay it forward. The more people that can have access to this, the better. It's not about money, it's about what I think this can do for everybody. So I want to thank you for giving me an hour of your day and showing up to make me feel really special. Thank you. And I love you all very, very much.
What a beautiful way to end. So, Linda, we want to thank you for the opportunity of you sharing your story on resilience. And also, I want to thank each and every one of you in the Zoom room and watching the replay. But I also want to thank Latita, Christine, Asha, Ramel, and also Jay, like the team. You guys are fabulous. I'm getting the chills now, so I'm going to go because I'm going to start crying. You're going to start crying. We're all going to start crying. And Linda, we appreciate you so much. Massive, ginormous, humongous congratulations. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon. All right, get out of here, you crazy kids. All right, thank you.